two-pager on exactly what the community health center does, and I've probably been here 60 times, and I still get the two-pager on how good the center is. So the thing that they do better here than marketing, which is pretty good, is of course the provision of healthcare to some folks who don't have a lot of alternatives for healthcare. And I want to start there because Medicaid, which is what makes this place possible, is to some extent dependent, of course, on getting that accurate count. And you've heard it twice now today, you're going to hear it again. Yes, we're a donor state, we don't resent that. We're a prosperous state, we're a high-income state, so we're going to be a donor state, but it is important that we remember that not everybody in our state is prosperous, and the services that those folks who are struggling a little bit, who are lower income, who are living in challenged communities rely on, whether it's SNAP, or WIC, or community health centers like this one, depend on having an accurate count. And I just want to re-emphasize that point. The second thing I want to say, and I want to put as sharp a point on it as I can, the Constitution of the United States says that every person will be counted. It doesn't say citizen, it doesn't say green card holder, it says every person. So this is not a debatable point. And what we need to do is have an accurate count of all people who are here, because people need to eat, people need to be protected by our fire services and our first responders. People is what we're after. So it's up to each and every one of us, in particular those who work in communities that have challenged neighborhoods, that have more marginalized people, that we make sure that everyone understands the importance of getting counted. Hard to count. If you live like I do on Valley Road, with an address in a house, in my case with two crazy teenagers that I will sure get signed up for and counted, that's one thing. But if you have neighborhoods that have a lot of multifamily housing, that have more transiency, it's a real problem. And we need to make sure that everybody understands, number one, that it's essential, and number two, and let me just say this as clearly as I can, by law, census data cannot be shared with ICE, with federal law enforcement, or with local law enforcement with respect to addresses and who's living where. So we need to count all people. It is, at the end of the day, what allows us to have facilities like this one to make sure that everyone in our community lives a basic standard of living, has access to the education, the healthcare, the nutrition that they need. So, Lieutenant Governor, thank you. Susan has been crisscrossing the state. I was with her in Bridgeport, not coincidentally, at a library, because we're trying to do this in places where we can get to folks who might not understand or maybe even fear the census. So thank you for your great work on this, and let's walk away from this determined to make sure that people understand how important it is to get counted. Thank you.
Excellent.